Well, hello there, everyone. I'm the Glitch64 Reads, and, fuck, it's been a while, hasn't it? Well, anyway, I'm back, and, fuck, I just feel like reading something really stupid. So let's do that, with this. It's called Yoshi Safari Death Rally. This is on Trollpasta wiki, however, it is something that was on CreepyPasta wiki, and got taken down and then was salvaged by Trollpasta wiki and put on there, and even received fail of the month. So you know it's going to be good. This was the best setup I could get. I've never done a face cam reading before, and my monitor is like a flat screen. So anyway, let's just get on with it. When most people think of the SNES era, they usually think of A Link to the Past, Super Metroid, and Super Mario World. Well, I'm a bit different. I think of Yoshi's Safari. Fair enough, I suppose. I love it to death, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Unfortunately for me, I don't own a copy of the game. I love this because ask anyone who has a favorite game. Anyone. And they will own a copy of it. My favorite game is Super Mario 64. I own 2 copies of it. So that's bullshit, but let's pretend it got destroyed or something. Doesn't explain it in the story, but let's give it the benefit of the doubt. But I'm still able to play it on an emulator. I always look on eBay for it, but I can never find it with Super Scope. So an emulator has to do. One day, while hunting for the game on eBay, I stumbled onto it for only $7 with the Super Scope. The item summary said that it occasionally wouldn't start up, but it worked. I figured it wasn't too big of a problem. The wrong 2 was used there. I purchased it, and it arrived within a week. Once I got it, I rushed to my SNES, got the Super Scope ready, and inserted inserted 2 cartridge. I starred in awe as the game booted up. Surprisingly, it seemed to work just fine, almost as if it was brand new. I grabbed the Super Scope and shot the screen to begin playing. I was beyond excited to begin. I thought you just did. Anyway. Then I got to the mode select screen, and things began to get weird. Normally there are 2 modes, 1 player and 2 player, but this time there were 3. The regular 2, the right 2 was used this time, and a new mode called Death Rally. I tried to start it, but no matter how much I shot at it, the new mode would not start. So, I decided to play 1 player instead. It was exactly how I remember it. Once I finished, I decided to play the harder mode that's unlocked. I got to the hard mode and saw the Death Rally mode. I shot it, and much to my surprise, it started. It seemed the exact same, with Peach asking Mario to save the king and prince of Jewelry Land, until I got to the first level, and shot the first Goomba. The Goomba let out a terrifying scream and exploded, sending guts flying everywhere. As I shot more, the same thing happened to them. So, you're playing Yoshi's Safari, and you shoot a Goomba and it screams, and blood and guts spurt out everywhere. And you decide to, instead of react in any way at all, any reaction there, you just keep playing. Even the mediocre creepypastas, ones that I can still enjoy and narrate, when something like that happens, usually there's a reaction. There's no point having just guts flying everywhere if the character's not going to react. He's just going to be like, oh, alright, this is the new mode apparently. Fucking, I remember Yoshi's Safari when I was a kid. Hell, I remember Mario Party when I was a kid. And fucking, when Toad got kidnapped by the fucking Bowser Jr., I screamed and ran out of the room. If fucking Bowser Jr. came in and started slicing Toad's head off, I didn't just sit there and go, yes, this seems like how the game's supposed to play the hard mode. Like, what the fuck? I played through the 4 more levels, and nearly died in all of them. My arm was beginning to hurt very badly from using the Super Scope so long, but I wasn't about to quit when I only had 1 more level. There's a pause option or whatever. I shot at the level, and the Bowser face that appeared was crazed looking. It had dark, shining blue eyes and insanely long teeth. I broke into a cold sweat as the level began. I paid no attention to my arm and fought hard through the level. I got to the mini-boss section without getting hit once. Even then, I took very little damage. I was almost arm. I was almost arm. I was almost arm, but there's no space. And that's the sentence. I was almost arm, period. I don't even know what they were trying to say. I got no idea. I was almost arm. Cool. I was almost 3 toes in my tonsils. I'm not gonna fucking explain that to you. You figure it out. I continued anyway. The battle was much harder than normal. I managed to remove his armor with half my health left. Once it fell off, I was shocked to see I wasn't facing Bowser. That was my fault, sorry. I was facing something much worse. Giga Bowser. You know, Giga Bowser's like fucking 6 times the size of Bowser. I think you would know. Like, what? Why? Okay, so if the Bowser face looked crazy and deranged, why would you not assume that was Giga Bowser? But then when you see the same deranged Bowser, who's presumably the same size as regular Bowser, if you've played the game before, you recognize that as Giga Bowser. Giga Bowser is literally the crazed version of Bowser, with sharp teeth and crazy eyes. Like, that's not a CreepyPasta thing, that's literally, if you boot up a game of fucking Smash Brothers Melee, that's what he is! Like, Anyway, the fight seemed impossible. I had only a sliver of health left. Yoshi looked like he was on the verge of death. When I shot one last shot before I dropped the super scope in pain. Like, when I first read this, I thought maybe they were trying to get across, like, oh, he's only got a sliver of health, and that health is, like, reflecting me, and when Yoshi's hit, I'm hurting. But no, it was just, I'm holding this piece of plastic for too long. Ow. And then he drops it. Like, fucking good on you. You don't play Yoshi Safari because you don't have a super scope. And then you go dropping it all over the place. Like, fucking hell. It was over and I'd lost. But just then, Giga Bowser's flesh began to melt off until he was nothing but a skull. I did it, even though he lost. I did it! I beat Death Rally. I sat back and began to watch the final cutscene. The prince stood before me, right next to a zombified Lemmy. My stomach sunk. Lemmy had a gun to the prince's head, and before Mario could do anything, he shot him, and the prince fell to the ground dead. I stared in shock as Lemmy trained the gun on Yoshi. I shut my eyes tight. I heard a gunshot and then a sharp scream. When I reopened them, Yoshi was laying on the ground, also dead. Mario was filled with rage. He pulled out his super scope. Wait, why is Mario using a super scope? That's not... They don't actually fucking fire. When you use a super scope in a game, in the game, they're not using this piece of plastic. They're using a real fucking gun. Mario's going in there with a super scope. You killed my 2 friends! Duh! Lemmy's just sitting there like, fuck you doing? Piece of plastic. Get out of here. Here's a real gun. Like, super scopes are not just... Right, Mario pulls out his super scope and plays Yoshi's Safari, but in the Yoshi Safari he's playing, it's double death version. And, okay, I'm going far too down the rabbit hole here. He put out his super scope and killed Lemmy. He began to cry and sat next to Yoshi for a moment. Then he got up and turned towards me. The camera zoomed in on him. Then a text box appeared. The text box read, "This is your fault. You did this to him. Now I'll complete the death rally with one last kill." He trained his super scope at me, then finished. I reached for my super scope, but it was too late. Then I heard a gunshot. I shut my eyes to not witness myself die. But I didn't. I reopened them. So he presumably knew he wasn't dead before reopening his eyes. Whatever. And looked at the screen. The camera had zoomed out. Mario lay dead next to where Yoshi was, who was now gone. Epilogue. The screen then went black. I tried to reset the game, but nothing happened. I took the game out. I suppose it didn't work after all. I suppose it didn't work after all. That's what you take away from this. That is what you take away from this. Even the most cliche fucking creepypastas have a line at the end of, I'll never play this again, this fucked me up. Holy shit, this would fuck you up too if you got a copy like this. But he's just like, I guess this thing's a piece of junk after all. Fucking eBay seller was right. $7 well spent, huh? Like, fucking have a reaction. The point of creepypastas is that the character is supposed to have a reaction. If you were fucking playing this, you would laugh because it's so ridiculously trying to be edgy, but it's supposed to have the effect of, if you were playing it, you would be like, holy shit, what did I just witness? This is fucking me up. That's why Ben Drown got so popular. Because if you were the character, Jared Usable, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, man, I can't sleep after this. He's in all my electronics. This is really fucking up my life. Here it's just, fuck that then. Another one for the fucking scrap eBay. Like, it's the most fundamental thing you're fucking up. And I don't know how you did that, but you did. Good on ya. That's dishes. I took it to my garage and smashed it with a hammer. Well, I guess they did the one thing of, the reason why you can't show proof of this because you've destroyed the cartridge. And I guess you do have to do that, and it's always a difficult thing to do. What I do in my writings, personally, is not destroy the game, but make it destroy itself. A great example of this is the creepypasta about the game that deletes itself. It works so well because people don't know what they're playing, and by the time they realize what they're playing, it's gone, so they can't replay it, which is a great excuse as to why there's no video. Saying, I broke it, is not good. Most explanations aren't really good. People aren't really that... people are really sort of finicky with that sort of thing. It's hard to please a lot of people with an explanation, and it's very hard to do. But that is not a way to do it. I put it on the shelf where I keep my games. I never planned on playing it. I got it just to be sure I had the game I actually love to death. Well, that was a thing. That happened. So, how could you improve it? Well, take what you wrote and throw it out the window and set it on fire and start again, basically. And this time, give your character a fucking reaction to what's going on. Don't use every fucking cliche in the book. I mean, every cliche. Like, great work, you didn't mention hyper-realistic, but you still put blood and guts in it. And that's what the whole thing was based around. See, a lot of creepypastas these days, they tend to need to be more psychological or more well thought out to be accepted. These copy cliches of a video game started up that was from my childhood but now it's all bloody and violent doesn't really mesh well with people, and it has to be insanely good to do so. See NES Godzilla for that sort of thing. You can't be doing this sort of shit. No one can accept this anymore. It's generic. It's lazy. It's so fucking cliche. It's just... It's edgy fanfiction. And, you know what? I will give you this. I don't think many people thought to use Yoshi Safari, and you did incorporate the fact that it's a Super Scope game. But you did it in the worst fucking way possible. And at the end, for Mario to have a Super Scope in the game instead of an actual gun makes no fucking sense, and I hate it. So, you know, it's a little annoying. But, yeah, I mean, fuck. There's a link to this in the description if you want to read it yourself. Yeah, I just wanted to do something dumb and stupid. Maybe I'll do more of these. I could use a laugh, so... And maybe I'll do some more, maybe I'll do some stories that are actually meant to be Trollpastas as well. And, you know, we can actually laugh at those with good-hearted feelings because, you know, they were meant to be bad. And, you know, we can say, hey, that was the point of them. But this one was done in earnest. And, yeah. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And, hell, if there's a next time, I'll see you then. Bye.